Good evening and welcome back. This is Jim Jonas and Stephanie Phillips with another episode of Veterans of Politics. Really excited about today's show. Before we'll have our guest introduce herself and give a background about herself and why she's here specifically today. But it's good to get an opportunity to catch up with you, Stephanie.
I know, it's been a while.
Yeah,
and Steve is under the weather. Steve, I hope you feel better. So I'm filling in a little bit. And yeah, it's fun to be back. I love doing these.
Yeah.
We get to rant.
All right. So, yeah. Well, I want to try to cut it down as much as I can, but I'm really excited to have you as co-host today. Because one of the things that's been really eating at me like the last couple weeks, and usually when I give a rant on the show, I try to keep it as minimal as possible. But like, I'm just looking for some insight from you. Because I just don't understand what in the world is going on with this country, this world. Like, men aren't allowed to be men anymore. And it's just like, and for most of the viewers and listeners know, I'm a huge football fan. But like, I'm just watching this stuff going on, and we got quarterbacks painting their fingernails now. And like, if you want to paint your fingernails, I guess that's okay, whatever. But you're not even allowed to tackle people anymore, and you got to. I just feel like men are just not men anymore. And it's actually being pushed in public aspects. So I wanted to reach out to you, Stephanie, as a woman. How do you feel about that?
You know, we see a lot of that. And a lot of that is coming from this woke ideology that they're shoving onto everybody. Yeah. And people feel like they have to be this or that or, conform. But I believe God made men and women, and he made us special with special talents and gifts, and that we each have our roles and we work well together. And I believe that's how he made us. But the other thing, too, you talk about what's going on in the country, and people are just kind of fed up with what's happening. But what kills me is the DNC, when you have Kamala saying that she's going to fix inflation, fix the border, all these things. Well, where have you been the last 3.5 years? Because they are the cause of all of these things that are going on now. And and anyone who believes the stuff that comes out of her mouth is beyond me.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to. Because I had a rant, but it was like, okay, sometimes when I do rants, people are like, you're only looking at from one perspective, right? So one of the frustrating things about me, like, look, I'm not going to sit there and say Donald Trump is the greatest guy ever. Okay. Yeah, he's made mistakes just like all of us have. But when you get Kamala Harris saying we took over the worst economy since the Great Depression, and look at where it is now, it's like, I can't, it's so frustrating that people actually buy into this stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. We could go on all night, but we
Right.
have a very special guest here, and we want to hear from her
Yes.
and her bio, so I'll let you go into that.
So, Bonnie, why don't you introduce yourself? Just give a brief bio and why you're here and what you want to get out.
Look at the camera, or can I just look at you?
You can do whatever you
I don't
want.
know where the camera is, so it's like
You're probably smarter to look at Stephanie than me, but yeah, you can look wherever you want. We'll take care of it.
So my name is Bonni Malone. I'm native. I was born here 59 years ago at Nellis Air Force Base, the old Nellis Air Force Base Hospital. And 11 years ago in January, I was in a car accident that ended my life as I knew it. I was sitting at a red light early, waiting for the light to turn so I can pick up my client for the perfect little house for her. And a guy ran a red light and turned left into oncoming traffic. And then immediately, like, wham, he gets hit by a Silverado and they're both spinning. And then, bang, they get hit by another car and they clunked together and made a wall. And they came 51 feet and hit me and the guy behind me sitting at the light. And I obviously body slammed the window. The last thing I see is maybe 18 inches. I have enough room that I could walk through, and then loud noises tend to send me hiding for my head. So I'm guessing the last thing I see is because that's the split second before they hit me. I lost consciousness and that was the end of my life as I knew it. And I have been trying to stay alive now for 11 years and almost 9 months. And I'm not getting any help from my insurance. I've been blocked by insurance as far as going to doctors because they didn't see the need. And even though my surgeon who was going to operate 5 years ago is like, I cannot. Like, it went from, oh yeah, these things are bad, but we're going to fix you up. And he said, I'm going to call a couple other surgeons. I'll put together a team. I'll look at your films. If we need more films, I'll let you know. And when you come back, I'll give you the plan. And I came back wearing red, thinking, right? And then he's like, I'm so sorry. It's way worse than what we thought. And there's only 55 to 60% chance of success. And we don't operate under those terms. And I was like, okay, wait, 55 to 60%. Like, does that mean I won't be like all the way fixed?
Wow.
I'll just be partially fixed? He goes, no, that means you won't be alive. And I was like, okay. And then I said, well, does that mean I can't be fixed? And he said, oh, no, you need to be fixed. Because if you're not fixed, you're just going to continue downhill until your demise. And again, I was like, demise? Nobody uses that word anymore. Why would you use that word? And then tried to send me MUSC, tried to send me to Denver Health, and insurance company, which would be the medical director behind the curtain. The insurance company denied sending me because he said he didn't see the need. There's nothing in your file that says you're as sick as you are. There's nothing in your file that says you need any sort of surgery. So wow. I would call that bad note-taking on your doctor's part. And I'm like, so here I am 5 years later from that visit. I'm still alive. I'm still alive with all of this, right? So obviously God has a mission in all of this. And I know he's told me for a while to get my story out there. And I'm just, I don't know. You get the mindset that people don't want to hear this. You know what I mean? They don't want to hear my sob story. But then I started thinking about the other side. What about all of the people that are in my situation, that something tragic has happened to them or their family member, and they can't get the help they need. They can't get the care they need. They can't get anything they need because they're blocked by the insurance companies. Isn't that why we pay premiums? So that when I need something, you pay my bill? You don't fight me. You pay my bills. But what about all of those people out there who've already passed on because they didn't get the care they needed? I need to speak up. If that's why I'm here, to speak up for all of the people who can't speak up for themselves because they're already dead and gone, then I'm speaking up for their families. Somebody needs to make a change. Somebody needs to make a change. It doesn't matter if it's health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, home insurance. What is the first thing that you get when you submit a bill? Do you know what the first thing you get is? A fight. Mm-hmm. Why? We're not going to pay your bill. Right. It's just wrong.
They do everything they can to not pay that bill. I want to talk about health insurance companies. So we talked about that a lot, on the campaign trail. But would you tell everybody why you're standing instead of sitting and about the condition? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm standing and not sitting because I can't sit. Now my injuries are, there are people who say I can't, technically say dislocated because the mechanism is still all attached. But because I have a disorder called Ehlers-Danlos, And for those of you who don't know what it is, we're stretchy. People call us double jointed, or our skin's rubber band people, things like that. So when they hit me, I hit the window and on brain injury, but it also knocked my collarbone and shoulder blade inward and downward, still attached to my rib cage, which is now tipped and torqued, which instantly pulled my spine into scoliosis. So my whole left side is higher than my right side. And you can see my collarbone here is right there. It narrows my airway, presses on my vagus nerve, the main artery to my heart, my vocal cords, my thyroid, and it makes it difficult to eat. I choke a lot. So I'm stuck like that. I'm stuck like this, and I have been for 11 years and 8.5 months.
So let me ask you this real quick, because this is something I really want to get out. So, okay, so this happened in a motor vehicle accident, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so where was your insurance? The motor vehicle insurance, because that drives me nuts. Stephanie is much more of an expert on homeowners insurance and stuff of that nature. But yeah, I've had to deal with those guys forever. So
okay, so what happened was the guy who started the collision borrowed the van he was driving. That van had the lowest legal limits in Nevada, 15, 30, 10 at the time, which were the same my entire life. When I got my driver's license, it was 15, 30, 10. Why Nevada has never raised their insurance needs to cover people. So within like a year, that company could not treat any of us settle with any of us because we were all still treating. We're talking about 5 cars. All of us were still treating. That's how tells you how bad of an accident was. And then shortly after that, that company went out of business. So then I had to go after my own personal underinsured and uninsured motorist coverage. And in order to be able to tap into when the state takes over, when a company goes out of business, the state takes over and you can get money from them, but you can't get money from them until you exhaust your own personal insurance policy. So that had to happen. And I got a really good lawyer and I didn't have to go to court. His goal was to keep me out of court. And he used their independent medical examiner's examination against them. And they wrote him a check. And it was it. It was like, you say she's got all of this, but then you say she's not injured. There's nothing wrong. But they labeled pretty much everything that was wrong with me. So I got that, but people don't understand. They think car insurance, why did you settle if you're still hurting? Not life insurance. Car insurance does not take care of your body. And if you ask for medical on your car insurance, it's $5,000. In my particular situation, $5,000 would have been chewed up in the first 10 seconds in the emergency room. So you have to go with your own health insurance. And your car insurance is just money. It's just money. There's no reason not to settle. It's just money. All it did was get me a car. It got me a car and I was able to live.
So with health, I was just talking to somebody today about their health insurance and they couldn't afford to pay the extra that the insurance company wouldn't pay for these particular procedures. And they had to cancel the procedure. They couldn't get it done because they didn't have the money. And I know a lot of people go through that. And we were saying how so many people in Nevada go to California, Arizona. They go to other states. Yeah, Utah, right. To other states to get medical care. So if you could say anything to the elected politicians in our state, at the state legislature, in Congress, even the president, because of what you have been through, what would you tell them? What is your answer to fixing the healthcare system? What would help, in your opinion?
Are you ready? shut down the insurance system, all of it in one fell swoop. But before you shut it down, you ask each company, you have an opportunity to be an insurance company for our entire nation, for health, specifically for health. Everybody, every one of you will take a percentage of the indigent, a percentage of the disabled, and a percentage of the elderly, all at zero pay. You are competing against each other, so make your plans, but you will take these three and they will not pay and you will not gouge. And then once the plans are approved by the president, then it would be not government run. I don't want no more Medicaid, no more Medicaid, no more Medicare. Done. No more Medicaid, no more Medicare. Every insurance company takes a percentage of the people on Medicaid and on Medicare. Period. End of story. There is no, we're not insuring you.
And they all cover everything.
And they cover
regardless
everything.
Of what
Nothing,
it is.
no pre-existing conditions, no fights. The Americans are going to they're going to be paying their premiums. And when they go to the doctor, there's no pay because they're paying their premiums. No more of these co-pays and deductibles and, we're not going to pay that. If you are found not to be paying your bills, then you're no longer an insurance company in this country. And then when you do it with the medical system, then you do it with the car, you do it with houses, you do it with life insurance, you do it with all of it across the board. They do way more fighting to not pay your bills, but people aren't realizing we're forking out thousands upon thousands of dollars for insurance to get into a fight with our insurance company. That is wrong on so many levels. I can't even tell you. That needs to change, all of it.
I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things that I dealt with just 2.5 months ago was so I wasn't having a problem with my insurance company, but the case manager of the hospital, he comes up to me and goes, "Oh, well, you seem like you're doing pretty good, blah, 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 all this stuff." And so I'm like, "Yeah, okay." He goes, "Well, I don't think that we'll be able to put you in in-house rehab for this just because you're doing so good, and congratulations on you."
Nice try.
And so this is why I told him we were actually in stairwell at the hospital. And I said, "Yeah, okay." I said, "Basically what you're trying to tell me is you're having a problem negotiating with my insurance, and since my insurance is out of state, you don't want to have to go through the trouble of trying to fight my insurance in order to get this paid." And he's like, "Oh, no, that's not true." I said, "Okay, so what you had to deal with, same thing, case managers with the insurance companies, because the hospital is saying one thing, insurance is saying another, but then you got case managers that are getting paid by the hospital to tell the insurance company
whatever."
Yeah.
It's wrong. It's just wrong on so many levels.
Especially when you're paying into it.
Right.
That's where I get frustrated. I'm like, now, if I didn't have insurance and I wasn't paying into it every month, I could kind of understand it at some point, but...
Well, like me, I don't pay for my insurance because I cannot. I'm
Right.
considered disabled, but I'm also considered indigent. So, but I don't get Medicaid. Medicaid tells me I don't get Medicaid. So no services for me. No help at home. Nobody to wash my body, to make my meals, to buy my groceries, because Medicaid says, "Oh, you make too much money in disability." But in order to do that, they have me separated out as if I'm one person, not the head of household with 4 people.
Right.
So, but if you admit, like, even if you just admit my 17-year-old, my one child, that puts me at the level of care, and I'd be getting 29 to 30 hours a week of somebody coming into my home to take care of me, to do my laundry, to cook for me, to do my dishes, to buy my groceries and all of that. I don't get any of that because Medicaid's like, "Oh, you make too much money." So it's not, it's like they want to make you, eligible to be alive, but that's pretty much it. And I get nothing extra. And the most recent is my child who is SSI. She's my little one, right? She's born needing Medicaid, right? Heart defect, whatever, all of it. And they now tell me that, oh no, she has to be under different RSDI versus SSI because you're disabled. So she has to take money out of this pot instead of this pot. And now since she's taking money out of this pot, she's not eligible for fee-for-service Medicaid that she's had all her life. And they're about to try to put us on an HMO. And we traveled to Salt Lake City for her care. She just had neurosurgery 2 years ago. And they were going to change it. And they tell me there's nothing I can do. And I don't even know who to call. I mean, geez, if Trump was anywhere near me, I'd call him. I'd call him because I would be like, I don't know what needs to happen, but these people have way too much power and control over us. And there's nothing we can do but, okay. So yeah, I have piles of crap, mostly laundry. I can't get it done. I can't do it myself, and I don't get any help to do it because Medicaid says I make too much money.
Yet they send our tax dollars to go cover these illegals that come into our country.
Right.
Give them free health care, free food, all of this stuff.
Do you know how much they've reduced my food stamp bill? My food stamps used to be in the 500s. Last month it was down in the 300s. This month it went to 400.
And grocery costs have skyrocketed.
Yeah, and then my family has not changed.
This is working out real well.
Oh yeah, real well.
It's like, wait a minute, why? Why are you reducing my thing? They're like, oh, it's federal, it's across the board. There's nothing you can do because if you raise a rant, they'll cut you off. They'll cut you off so fast that it'll make your head spin. Yeah. And that's not a service to the community. If you can treat us however you want to treat us, and we have to accept whatever you say as gospel truth, and we're not allowed to speak out about it, that's not help. That is not aid. That is government-run control of your life. Do you know what I get every month? Because I signed the HIPAA forms that are supposed to protect my information. Mm-hmm. It does not. HIPAA, as a matter of fact, I think from you guys, I learned all about HIPAA. It actually lets the government send your information, your private information, health information to whoever they think needs it. So I've been like this for 11 years and 8.5 months. And I get every single month 3 separate. One, cremation is a great idea. Let's cremate you. One is don't leave your family in a lurch. Prepare ahead of time. And the other one is pick your spot now. Get your stuff ready. So basically the government has written me off as dead.
Yeah. They think you should have already been gone, probably.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just desperate to stay alive. You know, and I know the Lord told me he was going to heal me. He told me years ago, so I know it's coming. And I know there's no logical or rational explanation as to why I'm still alive with a compressed vagus nerve. But hey, you know, God is big.
He is.
So let me ask you this. I really liked some of your ideas on insurance, but and I don't mean to push too much, but I mean, because if you have a magic wand to fix this insurance crap that we got, excuse my language, but we got going on in this country, I'm all ears.
I have a plan written down.
But one of the things too is like, so it's like kind of what you were saying before, but at the same time, it still seems like it would be a government plan though. Like how do we get away from that?
Yeah, well,
look,
that's just,
it would take a magic wand.
You're right. When I was thinking would be government approved. In other words, you don't get to work in this country unless the next president says you can, and he's not going to say you can unless you follow all these rules. And it's one of the
an awful lot of power to one person, though. Let's be honest.
It's not just going to be him. It will be a committee of, hey, we're revamping the system. We're going to start with health. We need your input, and you guys get input. What's fair? What's fair for a premium? What do they need to cover? And then they put it out there. Here's a plan. You want to sign up? It's up to you. However many insurance companies join in, it'll make the amount of, like, the percentage of the indigent would be less and less the more companies are in them. So it would behoove people, but I think you'll get rid of a lot of people who aren't into that. People who are like, you can't tell us. No, they want to fight you, so they won't even bother.
So I wish you would have been there to negotiate the Affordable Care Act.
Oh, Lord.
Obamacare.
Yeah.
That was a disaster.
Yeah.
You can keep your doctor, remember? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody did. But what drives people crazy is when you have to go get a referral from this doctor, and I'm sure you've done 100 of these. You got to go to this one in order to get this one and the next one. How come you just can't call up a doctor and say, hey, I need to come in and all of this? It's like everybody needs a piece of the pie. Yes. Everybody needs their copay, their appointment, and then you go to the next guy and the next guy. And these insurance companies, they do run your medical care. They run, and they need to step out. It needs to be between you and your doctor. And if you need to go see a specialist on here, why do you have to be referred by this guy or this gal? Just, why can't people just go? And
right?
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Mm-hmm. You need to go to the doctor. You know, I lived in England years ago, and I got sick while I was there. I walked in. I didn't have an appointment. I spent 10 pounds, so like $7, and I got medication.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm not on the national health system. You know what I mean? So to me, it's ridiculous. There's no reason anybody needs to pay thousands of dollars a month for insurance.
No.
And then on top of that, you gotta pay your copay and your deductible. Some people that are just healthy will never meet their deductible by the end of the year, so they're still paying out of pocket for all of their health care. Mm-hmm. That should be a law. It should be a law that you can't do that. It's just taking and taking and taking. It doesn't matter if it's the taxes between the entity that controls all of that. It's ridiculous, the amount. I mean, everything is taxed, everything, and for why? And so you're multiple. You're paying multiple times on that same dollar, to the point where we don't even get the full dollar anymore. Mm-hmm. We get a very, very small portion, and it's take and take. Justify why we're taking. Take some more, justify we're doing it, remove a couple of freedoms because, you know, it's for your own protection, and we're just going to take, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and they become exactly what our founding fathers did not want. 100%. Our country right now is 100% not what our founding fathers fought for and died for.
That's right. The government has gotten so big and so inflated, and the spending has gone along with that. And you see these people that have been in Congress for decades, 30, 40 years. And what have they done? They have gotten rich off the backs of the American people. And when you see all of this government, this wasteful spending, yet we see people like you that are suffering, but illegals are getting paid. Student loan debt is being paid off, but yet we have homeless veterans on the street. There is something massively wrong with this.
Yeah.
And if we could go through the government and get rid of all the waste, all the fraud, all of that, we could take care of people like you and people that have, and our homeless veterans and you know, our seniors, and not have to tax them on their Social Security, for crying out loud. It's just, it has gotten to be such this big, huge spending, you know, just reckless spending of our tax dollars, and they are irresponsible. And it's been going on way too long. So these people that have been in there, they need to get out. We need term limits for that. Get them out of there. Overhaul that system.
Yes.
And 100%. Reappropriate these funds to help Americans.
My goal is to get off of all government help, like Medicare and Medicaid, like food stamps. I'm like, Lord, give me an income of some sort so that I can get off. And then I'll just do private pay. I'll do MediShare. And then I won't have to have anybody holding me back because, you know, God said I'd be healed. So I know ultimately I will be. Maybe it won't be in this country. Maybe it'll be outside of this country because of our medical system. We don't have a healthcare system. We have a sick care system. And the more medication that you're on, the better. My mother died a year ago on 26 different pills.
Condolences.
Oh my gosh.
Why? Why would she be taking 26? Well, this pill causes this, so she needs that for this. And this one causes this, and so she needs that for that. And I was like, that is wrong on so many levels. I take 0 pharmaceuticals. 0. Because they're all made, they're made from petroleum. And did you know that, I quote 110 years, but I don't remember how many years I heard that ago. So it could be 15 now. But 110 years ago, the founding of the big pharma people paid lots of money to remove all natural healing modalities from the textbook because it interferes with their protocol.
It interferes with their money.
Yeah.
More like.
So
that's what it interferes with.
So the medical students, they're not taught anything natural. They're just taught to medicate.
Yeah.
Not to find the truth. And the medication just shuts this system up. But while it's shutting this system up, it hurts this system over here. So then you need another one. And that's how they would like you to be. But I'm allergic to morphine and I can't take any narcotics. They all make me vomit. And I'm like, praise God. Praise God. I take nothing. And everything they've tried to push on me, they've already been sued and lost over it. I'm like, Lyrica, Neurontin, they've been sued and lost over that because it stops your pain by stopping your brain from forming new synapses. And so that's how your pain is stopped with Lyrica, but they just keep changing the name. Neurontin is the base drug. So gabapentin, Lyrica, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're old, when you're getting older, your body relies on your brain forming new synapses to keep you alive. So Lyrica is basically killing people slowly by killing their brains, not letting their brains form new synapses, so just little by little. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a link between that and Alzheimer's. I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
There's a lot I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't do any pharmaceuticals because there's nothing that they can do. All I need is my parts put back. So what I need is a fancy surgical team that consists of an orthopedic shoulder specialist, a thoracic, and a neurospine and cardiology, just in case anything goes awry on the table. But that's what I need. I need a medical team that does not currently exist to work together to get all my parts back and keep me alive at the same time.
Yeah, well, they exist. They're just not willing to work together.
Yeah.
That's what the crux of the problem is. Unfortunately, I don't have a solution to that, except for just do away with the whole medical field and start all over again.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, that's probably not going to happen. Hopefully it does, but not my lifetime. So you're very brave to come on and talk about these things, especially when you talk about a lot of people complain about big pharma, but not many people are actually willing to come on and say, hey, this is, excuse my language, this is BS.
Right.
And so, but in your current condition, and you kind of lined it out a little bit, but basically they don't want to have to pay too much, right. Insurance companies. Mm-hmm. But they don't want to pay a lot either. So you're kind of stuck in the middle. So what kind of support system do you have as far as family and other stuff? Because we already, unfortunately, now if Stephanie Phillips would have been elected senator, a lot of this stuff would have been fixed already. Right. But
I don't know how that didn't happen.
Mike McDonald. Anyway,
that's another show. Another show.
But so what is your what would you like to see happen that can actually happen in our lifetimes. Like, what's step one to start working towards a solution for people out there that, like, because one of my things, and I'm sorry, long-winded question. One of the things that I've gotten so frustrated with over the years is people complain about a lot of stuff. But when they complain, the number one thing they always say is like, well, government's the problem. Okay, well, most people already know that.
Right.
But they're not willing to take the steps to fix the government. So what would you like to see happen with the insurance companies?
Obviously, I would like the government to get out of insurance. I would like the government to have no more Medicaid and no more Medicare. I think if every insurance company was forced to take a percentage of the elderly, the indigent, and the disabled at zero pay, we could do away with. Do you know how much money we could save the states to not have Medicaid? Everybody, and then not only that, but you don't get looked down upon when they find out that you have Medicaid. Because there's still people out there who judge huge. You know, they find out I'm paying with food stamps, or they find out I'm on Medicaid, and all of a sudden you're treated differently, as if you're some lowlife who doesn't want to get a job. You're just lazy, right? And it's like, you're not just fighting Medicaid to get your health care taken. You're fighting society thinking that you're a piece of trash, that you're living off the system because that's what you want. And it's so not true. It's like, no, sorry, there's people outside who we don't get anything. I get no care. My house is a wreck. I get no help. My backyard is a wreck. My house is a wreck. My house got foreclosed on. Right before it got foreclosed on, my mother paid it off. So thank God I didn't lose my house, but it looks like I am the eyesore of the neighborhood. I can tell you that right now. I am the eyesore of the neighborhood, and there's nothing I can do because I'm not able to physically do it myself. And I have hired a few people who've left with my money. And so I'm just left high and dry with being the eyesore of the neighborhood. And yet I can't get help. I get food taken away. I get physical help, PCA, like a caregiver to come in and make my meals and feed me and shower me and all that. I don't get any of that. So I don't get anything from Medicaid at all because they say that I make too much money. And so all of the things that would make my life easier or better, maybe give me an opportunity towards healing, that would be awesome. I'd love that.
It sounds like we need to rally the troops and ask for some volunteers to come together. So we're going to do that.
That would be awesome.
We're going to do that. And we're going to ask the people out there, because there's a lot of people that see this. And anyone who can help Bonni with cleaning her home, the yard work, any of the things that she has been talking about, grocery shopping, things like that. Let's get together a group of people and get some volunteers. Oh, there you go. You knocked over flat.
Sorry about that.
I can't break it out fast enough.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry about that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
There's a lot of people out there that love to volunteer. They can help. And yeah, I'm going to work on that. And I think that is, that would be great for you. If a lot of people
watch this show, there may be a surgeon somewhere who thinks,
yeah,
I could tackle that. Of course, don't think you're bigger than God, because you're pretty much a no.
Yeah.
I did have one guy ask me, like, I don't even know how you're still alive. I'd have to break your ribs. Oh no. And he's like, you're going to be in so much more pain. I can't do this. He goes, but if the guy tomorrow thinks he can help you, I'm in. And I'm like, no, you're not. None of you think you're going to break my ribs. They didn't need to break to get where they are. They don't need to break to get back. The only reason that I'm like this is because I have Ehlers-Danlos, which I was endowed with by my creator. So he's got a plan.
He does. And he's going to use
this story. And I'm excited.
He's going to use this story and your story. And how many people are going to hear this and,
Yeah, no.
you know, be
So ready to be healed. You have no
encouraged
idea.
by this. Yeah.
And
Well,
hang on. Even if you think there's no hope, you need to hang on. You need to hang on. There's always hope. You're still alive. There's hope. So don't give up. And there's somebody like me fighting on your behalf, because it's not just me suffering. There's a myriad of human beings on this planet, in our country, suffering and being not noticed by the government, and yet being crapped on by society because they think they're, I don't know, low lives. I'm really not sure. But if you're one of me, don't give up hope. There's hope.
Well, Bonnie, you did a really good job of, because I'm going to get to that here in a second, so you can do a closing, but you already did a pretty good one. First and foremost, I just really want to thank you for coming on. And then, so kind of piggyback on what you've been saying, I don't know exactly, because I always try to not put myself in someone else's shoes. But I remember growing up, we were on farm subsidies, and we would go to Palmyra every month, and we would get government cheese and milk and these things, and we were looked down upon. And it wasn't because my parents were working hard, they were.
Right.
So that's something too that I really want to get across to people, like, don't ever do that. And that's one of the things when I worked for two different companies, and we had a lot of individuals that were either on food stamps, or then later it became EBT. And I was very cognizant to make sure that, like, look, you do not look down on these people. Some people do take advantage of the system.
Yes.
Okay. But not everybody does.
Right.
So people that really need assistance should get that assistance.
Exactly.
Especially when we're paying as much as we are in taxes and everything else. So I just wanted to say that, and just how much I appreciate you coming on, and to piggyback on what Stephanie is saying. Like, if we can help you out, like, you got our contact info. We'll do anything we can to help you out.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah,
very
but
appreciative, and someone so
I've
brave
tried
to come
so
on.
hard to grow a garden, to grow fruit.
Yeah.
And
Well, Mark has the green thumb. Don't ask me to grow fruit. I can't grow a tree, so. But
Well, as we close out, Mark, you're going to zoom in on her, right? But the camera is right there. But I would love
Right where?
for you, right here. The iPad, right? The iPad, or either one of them, actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But talk to our congressional members
Okay.
in our state of Nevada, and talk to our senators, and talk to our legislatures, and tell them,
Susie Lee, Jackie Rose.
every single one of them, it doesn't matter what's behind their name, talk to them and tell them, because this is not a Democrat or Republican problem. Healthcare is
Right.
everybody's, everybody needs healthcare, and that's an issue for a lot of people.
Okay. Okay. What I would say is, don't put on your website that you're here for the people, and that when you need something, you need to call us because we can help you, and liaison, this, that, and the other, because every one of you turned me down. I got turned down for already having a case open with Social Security. I got turned down for not having a case open with Social Security. I got turned down for HAMP, for HARP, for Nevada's hardest hits. I couldn't even get bankruptcy because I didn't qualify. Not because I had income, but because my house had equity. So that left me nowhere. And reaching out to you guys to, like, you got to help me. Clearly, I'm disabled, but the judge who deemed me disabled before he ever met me. So I didn't actually get a fair trial. I never even had nothing, and you guys gave no help. If you just take it off your website, no, we will not help you. Don't ask. We're just going to give you the runaround, and then eventually we're going to give you a nice letter saying that, we hope we could help you. And then you're going to start emailing me, asking me to support you. Don't do it. I'm telling you now, don't do it. You're wasting your time. Because if you're not going to actually help anybody, I'm not actually going to tell anybody to vote for you. I'm definitely telling everybody not to vote for you that are in office now, because every one of you knows me. And if I have a voice loud enough, you're all leaving in November, all of you who are eligible, or you're leaving, if I have anything to say about it.
Well, Bonnie, you actually do. And I want to, and I'm just going to close with this, because I was going to open it with a little bit more of a rant. But see, what we need in this country is more people like yourself. I am so fed up and tired of people saying, oh, well, we got to choose the lesser of two evils and this and that. And there's always an excuse. No, look, the reason why we have nonpartisan on this one, the garbage people we have running for political office to get their party stamped, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, is because people like yourself don't. The system works if you get out in the streets and you yell loud enough. It works. And too many people just go, oh, well, it's rigged. Well, so I'm just going to sit back and do nothing. Instead of actually doing something like you did today. And I just want to say I have so much respect for you, because that is not an easy thing to do, to go out on a live broadcast and be recorded on YouTube. That takes a lot of bravery. And I appreciate you very much for coming on.
Think about that. I'm freaked out now.
Oh, no, you did fine. But yeah, it's...
you know what? I've had a lot of time. January 3rd, 2013, 1313, go figure. In my home state, at Desert Inn in Decatur, my life ended as I knew it. And nothing's going to change. And I see it. COVID had nothing on me. I was already ordering online and already had home health. So I never ran out of toilet paper, but I don't know. God has gifted me with everything I needed so that I was able to I didn't suffer from that at all. And I got nothing but time. There's nothing I can do. I go to church and I read my Bible and I talk to my friends on the phone, but I can't physically have a job because I'm not upright all the time. I fall. I try to pass out. So I was like, how am I going to get my word out there? How am I going to get my story out there? Nobody knows me. God has been putting into my head from early on so that the world may know. And I was like, so that the world may know. And my pastor was like, now they do. Yeah. I don't mean to cut you off, but if I don't keep appropriate time, Steve's not feeling good, but I know he's right around the corner going, Jim, what is going on right now? We got time constraints. So anyway, I just want to thank you, Bonnie. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Bonnie. Nice to meet you.
Okay. So this concludes our episode with Veterans of Politics. For Jim Jonas and Stephanie Phillips, until next time.